Pilot AI. So this is a year forward deployment engineer project where it analyzes the repositories, architecture, and the planning, risk diagnosis, and production readiness. So this is all the project is all about. So let me first walk through the demo. Um, First, walk through the code flow. So this is the uh, code 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 base wherein it analyzes the GitHub repositories and application architectures and infrastructure and generates an deployment plan and diagnoses deployment failures and produces verification evidence before declaring deployment production ready. So the problem in forward deployed engineer role is like, so we don't know what services we can make the project to deploy and which services to go to public and which services to make it a private and which database to be used, either it's Postgres or SQL or traditional systems, or which environment variables to be made mandatory and which what should be the deployment topography look like. So all those stuffs, and also how why did the deployment fail, and so since these are some of the pain points in the deployment engineering as a forward deployed engineer. So to address the solution, I have come up with this infra pilot AI, which recursively analyzes the repositories and also it analyzes the environments and readiness scores to go for production ready, and it also gives evidence based decisions, and we can also use the deployment doctor to get to know about the failure diagnosis and all. So to understand the architecture, so a developer hits the front end, which is the UI of the application. Front end I have used as a React, and then the backend as API. Used various other services like GitHub API, diagnosis layer, and Xerox integration, and background worker, and database I've used as a PostgreSQL. So this is a pretty straightforward, simple architecture to understand. So why I've used Xerox to for a deployment is like it's a multi-service deployment for front-end API worker and database in one go, and it has Python based support. So and also it can be configured through Xerox.yaml file, and environment variable mapping is also pretty straightforward and easy. So that's why I've gone for it, and so I've used this. This is how the reasoning will be. The decision is to recommend PostgreSQL. So evidence will be site dependency is there and database URL reference is there and Postgres services is there. So these are things like, and we get 98% of confidence in it. And uh, so based on those, like, yeah. So I've given pretty straightforward steps to clone this in your local system and use this thing. So first, this is the tech stack: front end, React, backend, Python, database, PostgreSQL, infrastructure, Xerox. So let's have a look at this. First, let's have a look on the code base which I have hosted in there. So this how when you clone it, you get to know what this is the backend and this is a front end. You can get to know about its code. It's openly hosted, so you can get to. So how do you connect it? So all those services, what are the services being used, and so how did I given the API mapping? So all those. services and how the Xerox been generated. And the front end is like there's an index file, you can just go look at it, and how the front end API is being coded, all those stuff. You can get its details, and the migrations are being there SQL, and you get to know about the pretty good uh, README and runbook. So all those stuff is being there. So you can explore the code base by cloning it. So next off, like we can go to the project. This how the project looks like. So this is the UI of the project. You just analyze the repo. I mean, you can paste any of the known repositories, and then it analyzes and fetches and says it is 55% of deployment readiness. So Node.js is there, Python is there, and 8 deployable services being noted. So this backend, front end app, React email client, and this architecture root. There's a root, there's a backend. So it gives a readiness check. So runtime is deducted, and we can deploy these configurations or such. And there's also an deployment plan wherein we can deploy it. And if you have any logs, you can paste, and it diagnoses some of the failures before you run the deployment docker. So, and there's also an API docs where you can get through it and just try it out. So this the catch is where you can just try this out and get to know what is happening. So pretty straightforward project. And there's also the Medium blog written on top of it. So Xerox, which I'm mentioning, is like this is how the UI of the Xerox dashboard looks like wherein this is the project, and you get to know the front end is deployed and it's active, and database is being deployed and it's active. So API is being deployed, and how it is. So this is the thing, like you can just check the health of it. It says okay. So all the steps has been discussed heavily on it. So make a use of this and get to know what can be deployed correctly to your um, you can analyze it. So this is the one of such deployment stuff.